As you might expect, keyloggers are often just one part of a larger piece of malware. That malware, which is also known as malicious software, may be a Trojan or a rootkit. You may remember that a Trojan disguises itself as something else, making you think it's okay when in fact it includes malicious software such as keyloggers. Now, a rootkit is the software that gets installed in the kernel and is hidden from the users, which includes a kernel-based keylogger.
That's right. And just like the spyware counterpart, we can find keyloggers infecting our systems through those drive-by downloads when we're surfing websites that contain malicious code. Or it could be a website that you normally visit that has been compromised by a hacker and has had no issues at other times. So as users, this is one of the biggest issues that we have to face, since you and I may visit a web page 100 times and know it to be safe, but then on that 101st try, we found out the hard way that it's been compromised by a hacker, and now we're infected. We need to better understand how we can help mitigate these potential risks.
So what do you do to prevent yourself and those within your company from being infected with spyware or keyloggers?
Right.
How can we make sure that we can help prevent this as much as possible?
Well, first off, don't operate your PC on a daily basis with the administrator account. Do not do this. Set up a general user account that you will utilize for your daily activity. When you need the administrator account, then you can select Run as the administrator and enter your password. This will prevent many infections, but really not all of them. Now, we're not here to promote any specific products. We do mention a few, but we have to be very careful to be vendor agnostic in this training. So what we're going to give you here are recommendations from a general perspective, and it should be fairly easy for you to find software to fit these recommendations.
Yeah, and we do have real-time spyware blockers from general antivirus companies, and you can even get plugins for your website to help this. If you use a Mozilla Firefox web browser, you can download a plugin or app called NoScript. This will prevent every script on a web page from running on your computer. Yes, this looks like a little ugly, but it is very safe. And you can right-click on a specific web page or a specific area on that web page and choose to download or run the script. It is not a good idea to use free file sharing. Torrents and other places like Pirate Bay, which we mentioned before, are dangerous, so we should stay away from them.
That's right. And don't use cracked applications. Don't click on pop-up ads. Just don't do it. Security admins also recommend that you do not install ActiveX or any add-on to your browser before it has been thoroughly researched and you're confident that it is safe. Do your homework and ask an expert. He or she will be able to help you know whether or not this software should be used. Just because you want it doesn't mean you need it. Of course, make use of antivirus and anti-spyware software. Now, there are many on the market today, and most of them do a very good job.
Yeah. However, we don't want you to think that you will be 100% secure by following these recommendations. You won't. A hacker is almost always ahead of the defender. What you want to do is be so difficult to hack that the majority of hackers will leave you alone. You don't want to be taken advantage of by a drive-by download. Free software is not free. There have been many individuals who have spent far more money at the computer repair shop getting their systems cleaned than what it costs to purchase the software in the first place.
That happens all the time. And if you think that you may be infected, then you can utilize many different tools in the market for searching for spyware and viruses. One favorite tool among pen testers for finding spyware is an open source tool called Hijack This. It was previously owned by Trend Micro, and then they've given it to the open source world. So it's a nice, easy program to help you find much of the spyware that your system may be infected with. Many of the antivirus companies have free virus scans that you can perform. However, if you are infected, it really may be too late.
Yeah, this all simply comes down to this: be smart, and your users will be safe.
That's right. All right, so today we're going to take a look at a simple tool called Hijack This, as we talked about previously. This is a type of countermeasure. Now, what I mean by that is the hijack of this program is not something that is going to prevent, but it is something that is going to find. And that's why I say that it's a type of countermeasure. So we have this tool here called Ultimate Keylogger, which is a tool that hackers could use to log your keys or keystrokes. Remember, we used that previously. And we have this thing set up in the background, and I want you to take note that right now we can see that it's running here in the applications. We've come over here to the banner, and we notice we can show or not show the icon. Now we're going to go ahead and going to check that, so we're going to start monitoring and click OK. Notice that is no longer visible in the application. Now, for any user that knows all the different programs that are running here, you can look down through the list and you might be able to find that this is the keylogger that's running in the background. But then again, you might not. Not very many users know and understand all the various programs that run in the background. Now, what I like about the Hijack This program is that it is a free program and it's now available through SourceForge and other locations. Trend Micro released this to the open source community, so it's now freely available and accessible by many avenues. Now, I'm just going to run the program here, all right? So we'll notice here that we have this program, Hijack This. It's a very simple program. Now what it does is that it scans for any system settings, registry settings, anything that is related to the startup and programs that are running in the background. Now notice here this program will scan your PC and generate a log file of the registry and file settings that are commonly manipulated by malware. So we go ahead and click scan here and notice that I get a pop-up, the host file is not accessible. That is because I'm not running this as an administrator, and it is a locked file. So this is good. If we're running this on Windows XP rather than Windows 7, we would be able to access this file. So we'll go ahead and click OK. Now we can scroll down through these items. We can see here on top that we're dealing with the Internet Explorer startup pages. Now if we do not recognize them, we need to check it out. So this one here, for example, I don't know what this is. I'd need to go investigate to figure that out. Okay, so this syswal, that is just fine. This one here has to do with some other software that we've installed. Not a big deal. I do recognize it. Of course, Dragon Naturally Speaking, that is recognizable. All right, so what is this one here? Under Policies, Explorer, Run. And then we see UKL, which stands for Ultimate Keylogger. We can see that we have this service running here. It really was easy for us to find because, of course, is not 1,000 of them listed. We can go down through and we can read these other ones and we'll find that they're all okay. There's nothing out of the ordinary here because I started with a blank system. Now what I recommend for users to do with this is that we create a baseline. We get our system fully up and running with all of the programs installed and running as we plan on using them. Then we create that baseline. So we keep a log file of it. So we can save the log file, and I'm going to go ahead and save it over top of the file that I already listed. You'll notice here that it is the exact same thing that we're looking at before. Now we have a place that we can go to verify if there has been any changes made to those system files. Notice that the Ultimate Keylogger startup is still listed because we've not removed it. So let's just say that we want to get rid of it. So let's go ahead and see if we can make that happen. The difficulty is that we have this running in the background. Normally, we would just click this checkbox and choose to fix the checked. Now, we'll have this pop up asking if we want to permanently delete it. We choose yes. Now, let's run the scan again. And as before, we cannot access the host files. Notice here, the program still exists. It's still here. That is because it's actually running in the background. Since we were not able to get it out of it, that tells us that there is a program running in the background that we are not aware of. This is not a good thing. So now we know that we need to find this file, stop it from running, and then we can remove it. And we can move forward with cleaning the registry. So I'd go find where this is located and I would remove the program completely, and then we would be able to remove this file from the registry. Now at least this program allows us to find what we need in order to keep our system clean. Now maybe our antivirus stopped working or it did not stop a new keylogger from being loaded on the system. A lot of times we're able to find this spyware using a tool like Hijack This. So this is a simple tool that helps us find the culprit, find the issue on our system pertaining to malware, spyware, and keyloggers.
This countermeasure is an example of a piece of software called Key Scrambler. It will simply encrypt your keystrokes on the fly between the keyboard and the applications. This will prevent keyloggers from capturing your data because it will make no sense to them whatsoever since the data is encrypted. Is it recommended that every user make use of a tool like Key Scrambler? Is not. However, those users that are working in highly classified areas should consider making use of this type of software.
One of the best ways to defeat spyware and keyloggers is going to be to use encryption. Now, an application such as Key Scrambler can encrypt your keystrokes before the keylogger can record those keystrokes. To save time, I've already installed Key Scrambler to demonstrate how this can prevent theft of your passwords. Now, this program does have a free version. The free version can encrypt the space key, and it will also support the East Asian language support input. The premium version can protect the Windows login, which means that it is active before you and I even log into the system. This means that I can protect us against keyloggers such as the BIOS-based keyloggers. In order to test this, we'll use the ultimate keylogger to capture all of our keystrokes. So we delete any of the existing logs to make sure we're not confused about what we actually have in front of us. And we'll leave all of the monitoring options set to the default and record the screenshots every second. Now we just simply click Start Monitoring. Let's now go to Facebook and test Key Scrambler. I want you to notice at the top of the browser, we'll see a green bar that will show up when we start typing, and it'll show us what we're typing into the spaces below in the encrypted format. Now, as we start to type, you'll see these odd characters show up, which is the encryption. As you can see, we're entering keyscrambler@hotmail.com, and we'll also enter the password. As you can see, the encryption happened via the green bar at the top, and now that we are finished typing, the green bar has disappeared. That's how Key Scrambler works. So now let's test the results by logging into Ultimate Keylogger and finding out what has actually been recorded. So we'll stop monitoring and then choose to view the results. And look, as we scroll down through here, we'll find where we went to Facebook. So this is just a bunch of screenshots on that web page leading up to when we started to enter our username and password. Now that we've found it, we can see on the left the C, the equals, and the M, all of which were encrypted keys that we had seen from Key Scrambler. As we scroll down, we can see all of the characters are encrypted. This is great news. We can see that we've sorted a keylogger attack. Notice that the backspace is not encrypted, which was never intended to be encrypted. So as you can see, with encryption, we can defeat most of the keyloggers available on the market today. Hackers aren't going to waste time trying to defeat encryption. They're just going to go after the easy targets. So a tool like Key Scrambler is free, so it's an easy way to mitigate keylogger threats. As an enterprise, you would need to purchase the paid version or have another method of mitigating this threat. Now, professionals also recommend utilizing a third-party firewall, such as Komodo, which will notify the user every time a modification has been made to the system. So this is really annoying early on when you're getting the system ready to run, but it's highly effective in the long run. They don't recommend built-in firewalls, as most of them are easy to circumvent or turn off.